Hello folks, welcome to LightSource Engraving. If it's your first time here, thank you so much for stopping in. And of course, my returning viewers, thank you so much for checking in on another one. I have a fun project for you today. First, watch this video, get the password for the free file, which will be revealed later in the video. Then get yourself a stainless steel tumbler, 20 ouncer, and then you will be able to download the file that I used to mark the stainless steel tumbler and the settings that I used. They are for a 60 watt MOPA 200 millimeter lens on the Rotary, and it's done in focus. So enough about that. Let me show you what I've been working on. This is one of the testers, and red, white, and blue on a stainless steel tumbler. I'm going to let this set in the garage in the humidity, and I'm going to see if it rusts. But I need a tester in order to see if that happens. So, well, no, I'm not going to keep this piece of crap. We're going to mark a new one. So let's get started. And first we'll go into LightBurn. Then we'll go to the Rotary, get it set up. Then I'll fast forward through the Rotary job because it takes about 20 minutes or so. No, maybe it's 40 minutes. 40 minutes to do this whole tumbler, and then we'll wrap up the video. All right, let's get into LightBurn. Here's the file that you are going to be able to download so that you can attempt to mark this on your own tumbler. Now, what I want to go over are a few things here. So there is a line right here, and it runs across, and this line is a toolpath, and it's used for centering. So we're going to use that to center up our tumbler. I also have this box here. I have a second box here. Okay, the first box. This is the height of the tumbler here across the Y. And then up and down, we have the circumference of our tumbler. So we just need to calculate that, get the diameter, and then you can plug that either into the Rotary and it'll calculate for you, or you can multiply it by 3.14159, and that will give you your circumference that we need to make this box. So this box is going to serve as the area in which we will put graphics to do a full wrap on the tumbler. So if this is the center of the tumbler, then these lines here represent the backside of the tumbler. So they would join in the center on the backside of the tumbler. So if we cut it into thirds, we can see approximately this is the front third. This is, if we rotate it, this would be the next third, and then this would be the third third. And I'm using a GDS tumbler. A GDS tumbler has lots of little rings around it. They run up and down. Well, I didn't want to get any of this stuff in the rings, but I did want to attempt to put 3 stars at the front. So what I did is made a second template right here, and that told me where those rings started, and then this is the bottom of the tumbler here. So I just used that as a guide for where to put those stars. And then I ran a test and found that they were in the center of the ribbing on the tumbler, and they look good. Now, what I will typically do, let me just grab this whole thing, is I will make my templates, and just to make it easier for me to look at, I'll do my design in this orientation. Then I'll just grab everything and hit the period and rotate it. Now, depending on how you have your Rotary set up, whether it's off to the left or the right, up and down in the center or back here in the center is going to depend on where you're going to put your graphic. I have my rotary set up off to this side. So my rotary is here. So if my rotary is here, my centering line is here, and then the tumbler will be spinning in this direction, up and down. So when we go to rotary setup, my rotary is set up on the Y. It's rotating. If you're looking at your laser, you could say up and down, top to bottom, and it's set to Y. You need to make sure that you have your steps per rotation calculated. That's set by the stepper driver inside of your laser. So you need to know that. Have your object diameter handy, 88, and then LightBurn calculates the circumference for you. So then you can just use that to draw your template. I used a split size of 5 and a 0.25 millimeter overlap. I tested to see what would give me the best results, and that's where I landed. Now I'm giving you all of this artwork, and I'm giving you the settings that I'm using for a JPT 60 watt MOPA with a 200 millimeter lens. And we are running this in focus. And the settings are going to be in the file. So I'm not going to bother going through each different setting and the specifics of the settings, but each setting is in the file. I will tell you that each layer is running at 0 degrees, so it's running right across the tumbler. That's where I've found the best results, is to run it across the tumbler. You could have it set up running at different angles and experiment, but I found the best results, like I said, running the direction of the tumbler. Now let's go to the rotary, and I'll show you exactly how I set up my tumbler on my rotary. I can't find the key to my rotary chuck, so I use a large screwdriver. It works very well. First thing I'll do is line up my rotary so I can see 2 of the 3 jaws, and then I line the tumbler up with the back of the jaw. So I line it up like this, and then I will tighten it up. And then I will spin the rotary around and make sure that each one is in the same position, and they are. Man, that might be tightened up a little bit more. And I'll double check. Scoot that on just a little further. That side on a little further. All right, now we look good. Then, of course, we need to level the tumbler. I'm going to leave a link in the description for this cool little level I found that's magnetic. So it does have some attraction to that stainless steel tumbler. Definitely will attract to the rotary. But basically what we want to do is get your tumbler leveled up. So if I loosen my rotary, and get that tumbler perfectly leveled. Using that little level. It runs $10 on Amazon. Links in the description. I really like it. Then the next thing we want to do is make sure that we are centered underneath the galvo head. That's when the centering line comes in handy. So I'm going to select the centering line and click frame. I'll remove some of that light so you can see. Here's the centering line. I'm already centered up, but if I wasn't, I would move the rotary back and forth until it's perfectly centered in the tumbler. And another thing that I did with this centering line is I made it the exact height of the tumbler that we're going to be engraving, so that where the line falls off or stops is approximately where the tumbler should stop. So we can use that to line the tumbler up left and right on my laser, and then also top to bottom. You can always add another line to make a cross or an X and have it right in the center, so you can use it to center up your tumbler, so you know exactly where your graphics are going to fall. But that's how I line it up. So it's level, it's centered, and we are about the point where we're ready to run this tumbler. Not this one in particular, but we're going to run the nice new one. This is a Harbor Freight tumbler, and its ribs are in a different position than the JDS tumbler. Its ribs are down in this area. So if I were to put an X in the, or another framing line in the center of this work bed, so let's make it blue, and then we'll frame it. See that it's falling not quite in the center, but it's pretty close. As long as your graphics are lined up appropriately on your workbed, it doesn't have to be center. Having it centered this way is the most important. That way your rotary is hitting just right at the top dead center of your cup. And here is the centering line that I just showed you. The frame, the center of your workbed. And like I said, the one that's traveling across the tumbler, the width of the tumbler, it's most important to get that top dead center. That one is right here. Now, when I click start, it's not going to immediately spin up and start burning. It's going to give us this setup screen. So here's where I have my 5mm split size, a 0.25mm overlap, object diameter of 88mm. And I have it set to run shapes in shape order. The output center, if you cannot get your rotary exactly centered underneath your galvo head, you can adjust the output center. So you can click show, and it will basically run a center line on your tumbler, so you can line up the output center to the center of the tumbler. I used my own framing line here and framed up the center of the tumbler. When LightBurn does it for you, it does the same thing, except it will adjust the output center. You can adjust the output center to hit directly on your cup. Then you can center your graphics up to the output center. You can also frame the whole graphic, and when you do that, it basically outputs the whole shape. So you can see it here and here. Top of the cup and the bottom of the cup. Now let's click start again. And let's say that we needed to move the tumbler around to get it perfectly centered up. You can adjust the jog amount and then click this, and it will rotate the cup. If you wanted to have a longer jog, you can increase that distance. If you wanted to test how well your rotary is calibrated with the steps per rotation, you could grab the circumference, which is 276.46. Set this at 276.46 and click jog, and it should make one complete revolution. So let's click jog, and then I'll switch over to the camera. I'll switch over to the camera, then I'll click jog. So we should get one complete rotation. And we did. So that rotary is set up. I'll do it again. And the steps are accurate, and it returns to the same spot. So that's a quick way to test your steps per rotation just by inputting your circumference as the jog amount, click jog, and it should spin one complete turn. That's a quick, easy way to do it without having to burn anything. All right, I'm going to put the actual tumbler on, and then I'm going to click start. We'll have the engrave going. I'll fast forward through it because, like I said, it's 44 minutes. And just put that in fast forward, and then we'll come back with the finished product.
Yo, light source engraving, we're the kings of the craft. All the channels can't keep up, they're just a laugh. Got the laser on lock, precision on point. While you're fumbling around, we're the talk of the joint. Light source engraving, we're burning up the scene. Others try to match, but they're far from our league. We're the best in the game, yeah, it's clear to see. When you think laser art, it's LSC. Watch it slice through the wood like a hot knife through butter. Other channels stutter, we make the views flutter. From metal to leather, we engrave with finesse. Your weak attempts look like a total mess. We got the skills, the tech, the creative flair. You're lost in our dust, can't compare, don't dare. Step up to the pros if you think you're tough. But our engravings make your attempts look rough. The future of the craft, pushing boundaries every day. Your basic tutorials are so yesterday. Our precision's unmatched, designs are supreme. We're living the dream while you're stuck in a meme. So keep watching and learning, maybe one day you'll see. But till then, light source engraving is the key to unlocking true skill, creativity unleashed. While your channels remain in the shadows, we feast. Light source remain in the shadows, we feast. Light source engraving, we're burning up the scene. Others try to match, but they're far from our league. We're the best in the game, yeah, it's clear to see. When you think laser art, it's LSC. Step aside, amateurs, let the pros take the floor. Light source engraving, always ready for more. We're the top of the chain, the best you'll ever find. Your channels fade away while we continue to shine.
It's going to be hard for me to get a good angle of this, so I'm going to set it on my turntable. But I am going to go ahead and show it to you right here and try to get you a good close-up. But the turntable will get the whole thing. And you can somewhat see the split lines in the flag, but it's really not annoying to me. It looks pretty good. I like it, and it's only up close you see that. So you can play around with your overlap and your split and possibly eliminate those lines, but I saw them and thought it kind of added a little bit more character. I actually liked them, so I did not mess with my setting once I got it into this point. But we do have the red, white, and blue. The two-tone USA, all the stars in there, E pluribus unum, and of course I had to have the Second Amendment quote. But let me show you some turntable footage. Okay. I know this is going to be tough to reproduce, because every laser is different, and not all settings will work for every laser. But get yourself some brushed stainless steel, practice, see what shades these settings produce, and then you just have to adjust from there. You can run some material tests, but this should get you in the ballpark for a red, a white, and a blue. I hope this helps. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. I would appreciate that thumbs up. It's a free way to support the channel, as Jerry always says. And thank you, patrons. I appreciate it. I've wasted a couple tumblers trying to develop these settings and get it to work on the Rotary and still come out looking great. I appreciate my patrons and channel members. You guys allow me to buy all this testing stuff. So thank you again. Now, most importantly, everyone, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.